If your shoulder tends to roll off the floor like that when you're just laying here passively, this exercise is going to ask you to purposely put it on the floor. So you'll notice that the more the shoulder rolls forward, the more my collarbone also rolls down with it. Now, if I take my arm and put it out somewhere between a Y and T position, and I try to press the back of my arm bone, my humerus, into the floor, that's going to put that in a more open position. So this was the rounded position. I'm going to try to get the back of the arm bone into the floor and press it down on purpose. And you're going to find that that collarbone rolls up, opens up this top of the chest area. And if you actively think about pressing that upper arm bone into the floor, you might find that your back comes off the floor a bit where your tailbone is still down. And that's going to be your contact point. You're going to have tailbone on the floor. The rest of your back will not be in contact, but you're gonna have that open chest area ready to go, and you're gonna keep it this way to breathe actively. So the breaths, we know it's a full exhalation where we want the rib cage to rotate down. We're just keeping these bones fixed in this position so that they stay open. The muscles that attach to these bones get a new length, and then we're asking the rib cage to rotate down as you exhale. Pause when you're empty, and then breathe in slowly, keeping that exhaled position so that new tissues get a chance to open up. In this position, if your neck tends to be here, and we want to keep it a little more open so the airway is more comfortable to breathe through, you can take a rolled up hand towel, put it at the base of where the skull and your neck meet. And you'll know it's a good place because it kind of helps you keep your chin up and it feels a little bit more open, so it's kind of just passively fixed here with that hand towel. So, back is relaxed, feet are flat on the floor, somewhere about hip width-ish, and then you're just gonna keep the upper arm pressed into the floor like so. When I do some breaths to demonstrate, you're just gonna see that my rib cage deflates from all directions, doesn't necessarily make contact with the floor. My focus is maintaining the upper arm bone pressed to keep this area open. You may feel some lat activity or some activity in the middle of the back. That's fine. Just focus on the position of the bones you're fixing, and you're going to feel your tailbone staying on the floor. Exhaling is going to look like this at the rib cage. So I'm thinking about exhaling and getting smaller in my shirt at the same time, keeping the arm bones pressed into the floor. And when I'm empty and I can't get that rib cage to deflate anymore, I'm going to pause, seal my lips, and then breathe in very slowly through my nose until all the air has come back in. And you're gonna get to a point where you've done so many breaths where you start to feel that the expansion's kind of happening in this very upper chest area, right around where those collarbones are now more open because you're keeping that arm bone fixed on the ground, and as well as into your back, which will feel like you're kind of expanding into the floor. You might also feel that you feel shifts and changes throughout your trunk. You're not really doing anything with it. Your feet are just kind of staying flat and relaxed. But you might find that after you do X amount of breaths, you can spend as many as 5 to 10 minutes just doing this one exercise, that maybe your feet are a little bit more flatter if they started rolled out or rolled in, or they're more relaxed. But the idea behind this activity is that you're trying to restore movement and dynamic expansion in the upper rib cage, whether that's in the front or the back or a combination of both. And you're keeping this rolled up towel here as an option if you're finding that you tend to be more of in this position with your chin. You're going to put that towel just to keep your chin open, so that way it's just passive, you're not thinking about it, and it should feel easier to get some deep breaths in.